so we can hear you.
Okay. Hello. Hello, can you hear me? Can I be heard?
It's kind of
Not
getting...
really.
No? Seriously. I got to
This is getting a little bit crazy.
kiss the mic.
Oh, yeah. I can hear you
rock
now.
star style.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh.
Hello.
Hey, guys. I'm Pat.
Hi, Pat. I'm Billy.
And we have two really cool guests.
Super cool.
Well, we have Jonathan Shaw back.
Super cool.
He's throwing up.
Super cool.
So, Mikey, if you look at this, see how that
Tonight,
fell.
we're going to talk about ethereal beings, spirits, guides, demons,
That doesn't need to be on top of it, though, right? You can... Yeah.
stuff that I find interesting and I know nothing about, but these two seem to have some knowledge. So we're going to get some scary knowledge tonight. Maybe it's not scary, but I'm already scared.
I was like
You
right
should be
about
scared.
to introduce Rudi, and then...
Should I put these Mickey Mouse ears on?
Yes.
Yeah, why not?
What up?
So we're getting started?
Yeah, we're started.
Okay, dope.
So Rudi is here too. Rudi Skiba.
Rudi Skiba.
She's like the newest member.
Returning member.
Actually,
You need to change your profile on your phone. It says Rudi Skiba's somebody's chick.
That is not my phone. That is Pat's phone. And I really wish that I would not be referred to as he who shall not be named.
were you here
Chick.
before or after Wickham?
I was here before Wickham.
Like so Wickham came after you, like the second time?
Yes.
'Cause,
And he
like-
was here before me this time.
Well, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, I was here
I'll-
before him the first time.
So you are the newest member of the Learning to Lose crew.
The first and the newest.
And also, like, I don't know, like a really important one, I think, because... Yeah, because she was, like, the co-star of this, like, movie I was trying to make. And that movie, shooting that movie, was where the idea for Learning to Lose as a title of something came from. I was using Dane's song because I was like, oh, I need to use songs that I own for this movie. I can't just like use like a Nine Inch Nails song or like, because I'm going to get tased for it. And a lot of times music can make a movie, you know, like it really can. So I have a bunch of these amazing songs from this guy, Dane Rippey, who some of you may or may not know. He died of cancer, a really good friend of mine. And I was in a punk band with him called Therapist. And then he was in a band called Alive at 27. And then he wrote all these really cool songs before and during while he had cancer. And one of them was called Learning to Lose. And it's a great song. And I used it in the trailer and I was like, yo, like, we should call the movie this. Because he's talking about... I was actually just thinking about this recently about Billy, about how we almost like, you know how a lot of podcasts have like intros and outros and shit? Yeah. This one doesn't have one.
We should just play Dane's song.
Well, yeah, that's the theme song for the whole thing, but it's like it takes all this work to, you know, put it in the beginning.
No sweat on my brow, no hair on my chest. On the laundry list, on a mountain of stress. Didn't grow up in no poverty strife. You may got me pinned, but you know nothing of life. You're gunning for me. You're running from you. You're gunning for me. I'm learning to lose. I'm learning to lose. I'm learning to lose. I'm learning to lose.
And then it falls apart. The song literally falls apart right after the first chorus. He's like,
He's learning to lose.
yeah, and he's dying of cancer, like while he wrote that song.
Oh shit.
So Rudy's here, and I'm excited. That's cool. She's back. Yeah, he's learning to lose. I mean, yeah, and I mean, what a cool little slogan.
Well, I mean, aren't we all learning to lose on some level?
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy to me that I just incorporated that. Learning to Lose Incorporated. I have learningtolose.com. Like, I was able to get that, and I trademarked it. Like, I don't. It's kind of interesting to me that no one has ever. But I guess it does kind of make sense, because who would want that? Our society is not doesn't think that way.
Totally counterintuitive by like normal standards,
Right.
which are so abnormal in the grand philosophical scheme of things.
The abnormal normal.
It's insane. But
So Billy, you wanted to have.
I want to have
I
a
mean-
spooky October episode,
But,
and I
mean-
wanted these two on. Jonathan was in Mexico last week, and he's leaving the country again soon. So we might.
I mean, he literally said to me like days ago. He was like, "We should have Rudy and Jonathan on together, because you guys have. I don't know.
They got ethereal being knowledge.
Yeah.
He knew that somehow.
because he's connected to the ethereal.
Plus, I just talk to people and listen to them, and they tell me things, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Let's get around to how Billy has a demon in his house. He's scared about the demon in his house.
I locked it in Charlie's old room.
What?
So why haven't you like tried to sage or
Danielle said she was going to come do that, and she never did.
So why can't you do that yourself though? Why can't you like? Because I mean, honest to God, like spiritual beings, entities, what they do is they feed off of your fear and your negative energy. So if you're more scared of that entity, the longer it's going to stick around. Like you need to sage it and confront it yourself. That way it gets the fuck out.
Or just burn the house down.
Really, just try to talk into the mic and try to speak like, not mumble.
Okay, I'll do it myself. I just felt like someone who says they have like Jesus and God and all this stuff would be better at that than someone that's just scared.
No,
Well,
because it's your own personal. It's your own personal study. So in that study, you gotta like Rudy was saying, you need to confront it, whether it's with fear, whether it's with whatever. Just with Billy, like Billy has to go there and say, "Yo, I'm Billy. What's up? Talk to me, or let me talk to you. What can I do for you? How can I help you?"
Oh, Lord.
In a certain
talk
degree,
to
I
me.
mean, it might be with you right now. The
Yeah.
fact that, like, it's come up in conversation multiple times. I mean, it's going home with you, and it's more apparent when you're by yourself.
See, I'm not going home.
What? No, you can't fear these things because look,
You guys are scaring me.
dude, you're a spirit.
We're all spirits.
Patrick's a
trapped.
spirit. I'm a spirit. Rudy's a spirit. Everybody is a spirit. The only difference between those spirits and our spirits is we're walking around trapped in this fucking physical body.
It's like a
And
flesh
they've
machine.
been freed from the physical body, but they don't know they're free. So they're hanging around the earthly plane. They're because they're lost. They're lost. So this is obviously a lost spirit, because if it wasn't lost, it would be the fuck out of here. It would be in its heavenly home, wherever that may be, according to its own karma and destiny and all that. But it doesn't know. It's like sleepwalking through the world, going like, oh, fuck, where's my keys? It's like,
Okay.
it's a lost spirit.
Can
You
I?
got to help it find the light, brother. You've got religion, you've got God, you've got a light that you carry inside yourself. So it's kind of like you need to kind of do like a 12-step call on this spirit and be like, yo, you're lost. Let me help you find your way home, because you don't want to be here. You're just going to suffer here because you've left your body, and you're not welcome to use mine. That's not happening. So, let me see if I can help you find a connection with your source, with your creator, with your God, with the light that will take you to the next level, because you don't belong here no more.
Well, that's such a sweet, nice way to go about it.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. That's another one. You can just be like, look, if you want to wander the earth like a wandering spirit, you don't want to accept, that there is a higher plane of existence for you, waiting for you to treat your wounds and your problems and, shower you with love and mercy and kindness and all this good stuff. If you don't want to accept that, that's cool. But get the fuck out of my house.
Take your unfinished business elsewhere.
I hope.
So,
are you guys all 100% that you believe in this netherworld or whatever you want to call it?
I've seen it.
Of course.
I live in it.
Okay, just asking.
My dog has teleported through a wall. When I was like 13 or 14 years old, my mom was always working and my parents were divorced, and my sister was hanging out because she was like 16, 17 with her friends. And I was hanging out in my house, just watching Disney Channel on my TV in my bedroom. And when our dogs got older, we kept them in the front of the house. And there's this piano room, and we had one of those big box TVs that sat on the ground that were like, the ones that have wood around them. It was really fucking old.
She said wood.
And so we would keep our dogs like in the front of the house because there was no carpet in the front. And we would shut the two doors, and we would put chairs on either side of both doors so they couldn't be pushed open. And I heard this like loud pop in the piano room. And when I got home, there was nothing in that room, and all the dogs and everything were in the front room, and I made sure I shut the doors. And then when I went in there, the television was on. It was like had the black and white ants like running all over it when it's static.
The frequency.
And my chow chow was standing 3 inches like from the TV screen. And I was like, motherfucker, some entity just made my dog teleport through the fucking wall into this room to freak me out as a 14-year-old girl. You know what I did?
What'd you do?
I put the dog back in the front room. I went to my room. I turned back up the Disney Channel, and I pretended like it didn't happen. Because I was like, I knew even from a really young age that if I fed into it, that it was going to stick around and that it was going to scare the shit out of me. And I was like, no, I'm not going to be scared. I'm just going to let it know that like I'm not down to clown, and I'm going to go back to watching my TV show. And I actually like shoved that under the bed deep in my mind for years and years and years. And then I remembered it again when I think I turned like 18 or 19 years old.
Hey, Ronnie.
It was a trip though. That happened.
Do you think some people maybe just have a special tune in to this stuff? Because Pat, have you ever seen demons and I have never.
Some people definitely have. Everybody is a medium. Everybody has a connection, but not everybody has developed that connection. Mm-hmm. And that connection, could come as like a baseball bat upside your head with, and then, that's like the nut houses and the jails and prisons are full to the brim of untrained mediums. Mm-hmm. These are people,
right.
And so are the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, and so are all the bar rooms and crack houses and, junkie houses and everything else. Because, alcoholics, for example, see, alcohol, they call it spirits. And I don't call it spirits for nothing, because it opens any substance that we take into our body, opens a certain spiritual portal. because, there are dimensions, and this is the physical dimension. It's just one channel on like an infinite radio station of millions of different channels. Now, what happens is if I'm listening to, K-Rock, and I turn the channel just a fraction, I could be listening to classical music, and I turn it again, I could be listening to the news. Mm-hmm. But what's happening is, like, when I turn from K-Rock to the news, did K-Rock stop rocking? No, it's still blasting. It's just blasting on a different frequency. Mm-hmm. So some people have these antennas that are a little longer than others where you can actually channel into another channel while you're still in this channel. So, that happens to me a lot. Like when I close my eyes, I usually hear all kinds of, just conversations going on.
Yeah.
There's nobody there.
Wow.
So, I'm hearing, other spirits. I'm getting static is what's happening in my radio.
Do you have any spirit guides, personally?
Oh, fuck yeah.
What's like, if you had to, identify and introduce who your spirit guide is?
There's a bunch of them.
But the main one?
The main one is, there is no main one. They all work together.
Huh.
They all work
Did you
together.
gain them over time?
Yeah.
Okay, because I only have one.
I gained them with knowledge that came to me over time. What happened was, I drink a lot of ayahuasca.
Oh, yeah, you do.
And the first time I drank the plant medicine, immediately I was connected to my guide. Mm-hmm. What's going on?
Yeah, you get your
sniffing
head
your head.
sniffed.
Wow.
He's smelling your brain.
Yeah, he's checking out my spirit guides. So it was pretty interesting. The first time I ever drank ayahuasca, like more than 10 years ago, and since then I've worked in shamanic practices for like thousands of these ceremonies. Hi, what's up?
He's picking up what you're putting down.
Kisses. Wow.
Rami is standing.
This dog is like totally checking out
on top of Jonathan Shaw and like just totally just sniffing his face, standing on his lap, just looking.
Wow.
He has no idea what
he knows
spaces or
he knows
invading space.
I think
he's licking my
Ramazan-
leg. It's like a trip.
Ramazan has like those.
I hope I don't get a boner.
Oh, what? Oh, my God, no. But Ramazan, he's very energy sensitive.
He must be.
Because, I was having a really hard day,
dog
I
is
think
a
probably
trip.
about 8-9 days ago. And when I came in, he just like ran to me, and like both Dino and Ramazan were like sitting and like licking me and all this stuff. And I was just like, they don't usually do that when I come over, so they have a...
Actually, I don't know. I don't know. That dog...
The dog didn't want me to tell that story. The dog might be working for my guides. It's like, no, keep this shit to yourself.
Well, that dog is a trip because that dog gets like really crazy anxiety and he moves
He
slow.
walks really like me. I can relate. Oh, you're walking like me, Rami.
That dog's almost like in tune to some kind of weird shit.
I can see it. I can feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's from
a trip.
He's from Japan.
I know.
He's also like an extension of Pat. And then Dino is like an extension of Veronica. They're what some people call in the spiritual world or Wicca, like familiars.
Familiars, yeah.
So I have 2 familiars, and they're supposed to be like either reincarnated spirits that are meant to like aid you in your journey. Yeah. And even though they can't speak, they vibrate on that frequency with you, and they help you make the right decisions.
Cool. It's good to have cats around, I believe.
I have 2 of them.
Yeah, I've seen your cat. I showed you mine.
Yeah, Gerard Butler and Joey.
Mine is Max. Yeah, cats, man, they're powerful medicine, man.
They're so in tune. Have you had like a conversation with your cat, like through their eyes before?
Oh, I have all kinds of stuff with the cats. I mean, they're
crazy.
They're amazing. They're like super evolved spirits.
I want to tell you part of the reason I'm open to this is because I had a respected sort of sponsor in SLAA. Like, I respected him, and he would go to primetime too. And he wasn't like into this stuff, but he said he went to the Hindu temple over there off of on the way to the beach.
Yeah, Venice Boulevard, I think. Or
No.
Washington.
It's out there in the middle of nowhere by.
You're talking about the self-realization.
No, it's Malibu Creek. It's right there by Malibu Creek.
Wow.
State Park. And it's a really intricate thing.
Wow.
And he went there to do a ceremony, and he said that he got like deep in meditation or something, and then he saw all around him beings. And coming from him, I was like, wow. I mean, and he said he asked one of the guys that is a devotee or something there, and he said, yeah, they're here or something like this. And I thought, wow, this guy is saying this who's not really into this kind of stuff. And it sort of made me think, well,
seeing,
that was years ago,
seeing
too.
is believing. Because I wasn't into all this stuff either. But I experienced it so many times.
Yeah.
Right.
Starting when I was a kid, like Rudy. But, I ignored it. Then I became an alcoholic and a drug addict because that was the only way I could deal with it. This was all unconscious behavior, but I was trying to shut the spirits up and keep them out because I guess just it was too much. It's like, when you have that sensitivity, it's like walking into a room of like blasting music, from 20 different speakers, 20 different bands playing all at once, and you shut up. And so, I took a liking to liquor and drugs, because it gave me moments of peace and comfort from all that noise, all that psychic noise. Now,
well, can you describe that? I mean, you don't actually audibly hear it. So what do you mean?
You feel it. You feel it in your gut. You feel it in your nerves. You just feel it, restless, irritable, and discontent.
I actually
Where's that coming
hear
from?
It. Like, I hear ringing in my ears on a regular basis. Like, there's different tonal things that happen for me.
There's also a thing. There's a thing just about the alcoholism. See, if you have a certain genetic predisposition or a karmic or an ancestral predisposition to alcoholism, maybe it's part of your ancestral line, maybe it's, just a karmic thing, it's a psychic thing. But if you have that, there are spirits wandering the earth. Generally, I believe these are spirits of people who died of alcoholism. They died in a, totally savage state, godless state, and they're wandering the earth because they have no connection with the divine. So they wander the earth thirsty. They're thirsty spirits, and they don't have a body, so they can't partake of liquor. So what they do is they literally possess somebody who has this restless disposition and really needs a drink, but they don't know they need a drink, and they're like, there's a horse for me to ride. And they get in there, and they basically suggest, hey, let's have a beer. Oh, I want a beer.
Or even when you get like blackout, when your consciousness
then they've taken over
leaves your body.
Completely, and I've seen it. You see people, drunk people,
Yeah.
that are completely possessed.
So when I blacked out, my mom would call me Patricia because like I would be a completely different person when I was blackout. I would say things to her that I had no recollection of saying, and that gets back to the like why it's called spirits thing, is that when you're like opening the door and welcoming in entities to live in your house essentially and like run the show in your consciousness.
And they're using you.
Well, not when you drink, but like when you black out specifically, you're like giving up control.
Well, they're partying. They're partying. See, they need a body. They don't have a physical body, but they're thirsty because they died with a drink in their hand or a
Yeah.
fucking needle in their arm or a crack pipe or whatever, and they carried that addiction with them to the other side. So now they're wandering the earth looking for somebody who could give them a hit. So they'll get into you, and they will get their satisfaction through
All
your
right.
addiction.
I got a new question for you. So, Pat's like,
I'm trying to find this video I saw yesterday of this girl talking about how alcohol. It comes from the word alcohol.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
demons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
demons.
Well-
It's an Arabic thing.
yeah.
Yeah, what is it? It was like a really cool video on
Interesting.
TikTok.
Yeah.
You want me to?
And I'm
help
just
you?
trying to. I can't fucking. I don't even know how to search for anything.
Well,
I didn't save it, and I don't know how to search for it on TikTok.
It doesn't matter.
okay. Meanwhile, I got a question.
No, but
But we know what it is. It's,
Yeah.
When you find it, you
well, I
play
mean,
it for us.
let me just finish
Oh,
what I was trying to say.
Oh, okay,
Like so yeah, that's what the word means. And then she was talking about spirits and how
wait. Alco means demon.
or demonic something like that.
yeah, like the demon within.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
something.
Some shit like that. Yeah.
And
I've actually read this. I read the whole thing a long time
yeah,
ago.
and like I don't know.
It's
like-
basically saying what we're saying.
yeah, but like also like people that drink, like it's one thing to just drink. Oh, cool! I'm having fun. I'm drinking. It's another thing to be like
Possessed.
so fucked. Well, not even possessed, but just like I don't know if it's possessed. Your definition might be different from mine, but like it's another thing to need to be to alter your state constantly, like we did. Like for a long time, we needed or wanted a lot way more than a normal person. So what is that? What is the relationship with that and alcohol?
Well, I totally equate alcoholism with spiritual possession.
Yeah.
I mean, totally 100%.
right.
That's what it is.
Spiritual
I mean,
malady.
why does Alcoholics Anonymous rely
Or-
on a spiritual program? It's not a self-help group. It's a group of spiritual principles.
But also drugs, though, right?
Drugs too.
Yeah,
they're
it's the
just
same-
different portals, but
Yeah.
they're all roads lead to hell.
I got a question. So I feel like I got possessed after childhood traumas.
Oh,
I
yes,
feel like
multi-generational
I remember.
abuse.
I'm going to just tell you this little story here. I remember after school, I used to walk home from school when I was really too little to be doing it.
Yeah.
And I got this kid from the neighboring junior high that convinced me to go to his fort, and he did his thing. And
What
I
does
wanted
that
to
mean?
say no, but he was older than me, and when you're little, older people seem like they're
Authority.
yeah.
Oh God.
But I remember from that day on, I don't know, I was in grammar school, that I felt different from everybody after that.
Shame.
Well, what was he doing?
He just molested me,
You said that so casually. That's
Well, hold on. Like, what do you mean? What did he actually?
You want to hear all the gory details?
No, I mean, did he touch your dick?
No, so
Did
he
fuck
got
you
me
in
to
the
take
ass?
my clothes off.
I mean, we
and-
don't need to go through just what did he do?
He dry humped me and came on my underwear.
Ew.
Dry humped you. So he was.
There was no penetration.
So you were.
I think
fully-
I had my underwear on.
So
yeah.
you were clothed.
I had my underwear on.
Okay, so
And then I went to tell my mom, and she just didn't get it.
I did like way more than that
Yeah,
with
but
other boys.
If you're a
and-
willing participant,
So what
that's
do you-
one thing.
so you were like not down, or you were just
No,
like,
I felt like he was an authority, and I couldn't. He was manipulating me. I was not down at all.
what did he come on your clothes?
On my underwear and my tidy whities.
Well, yeah, I think that we throw that word around a lot. Molestation, rape, and I think that I don't know. Personally, I could be
I
told.
didn't think of it as rape.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that like I could be wrong. I think that having sexual anything done to you when you're an unwilling participant can cause trauma and is not good.
Well, did you
However,
ever-
hold on, let me finish. However, I think that being raped or molested should be different than like what happened to you.
Oh, what do you call it then?
Just like sexual abuse, or like, I think being actually, I don't know. I feel like there should be a distinction between like rape and like molestation. Like that's when you actually get.
Did you ever meet an alcoholic or any dysfunctional person that did not have some traumatic event in their background? I mean, it also,
I do.
Same.
I was willing, but I was exploring. But I also remember certain things with like babysitters where I wasn't necessarily willing, but I was like, all right. Like I didn't really know.
So fucked up.
I don't think it was fucked up, actually.
But
I don't know. I feel like people use that and they put too much on it.
Yeah.
And
I'll tell you a story about a friend.
Definitely do.
Yeah,
I mean,
thank you. I don't like that. Yeah.
Trauma is when, you're sitting in the crack house and somebody walks in and blows the guy's head off that's, you just took the pipe from.
Or maybe
and the brains are all over your fucking,
Yeah, but also being molested
face.
or raped repeatedly by family members. That's also really fucked up. But like, having like little weird.
But having somebody pinch you on the ass, I'm sorry, that is not fucking trauma.
That's kind of
trauma is being in war and having your buddy's head blown off next to you.
Well, yeah,
that's trauma.
Well, but also,
or being tortured.
I don't think that we're like. I mean,
I think it's a bit relative. I think it's kind of relative. Some people can go through some shit and they don't seem fucked up, and some you take their candy bar away and they're scarred for life.
This is true, and that's mostly like liberal Americans.
But trauma is also. But trauma, I think, also like being tied up and raped, or there are also a lot of sexual things that can be like very traumatic, and I could even imagine what that would be like. But what I went through wasn't really, it was just like young child, like people experimenting and just fucking around.
But it's true what Billy said. I mean,
I think a lot of other
relative.
But I think a lot of other people, like what you're saying, would have been through the same thing I went through, and they will go through their whole life using that and saying that was some traumatic thing, and they've been sexually and that it gives
people
them,
love their trauma because it gives them.
Well, for one, it did change
me. It gives them an excuse to be a fucking dick. A lot of times.
I don't feel any one person is qualified to define what's really traumatic for another, because everyone is going through like it's a case by case basis.
True. Right.
No, I was disagreeing with.
No, but you're misunderstanding me.
No, I wasn't questioning what you said.
But just to clarify, what I'm saying is that you can take someone's candy bar and it could be traumatic for them.
Yeah.
But it's not molestation. It's not rape. It's not sexual abuse.
No.
In their mind.
So I think people throw these words around, and it's not fair to the people who have actually experienced.
I can agree with that.
Those things.
I can agree with that.
Let's keep it fucking real here.
Yeah, no, I
But I mean, I'm definitely not saying that you weren't.
Well, whatever it was, I was different.
No, but
from
I'm not
that
even.
point on.
You were. Whatever you said is correct. I'm just saying.
What do you want to call it? I don't care.
You were uncomfortable and your safe space was eliminated, and that was traumatic for you.
I think it does matter what you call it.
I was manipulated.
Yeah.
That's a good word. That's a good word for it.
And you were changed ever since that.
I remember being on the schoolyard and just feeling like
dirty.
Not who I was before. I used to be a little badass. I would get in fights and shit.
Whoa.
Yeah, and from that, it just changed. I didn't feel like I was a part of.
I can't remember.
So I'm just wondering, did a demon? I mean, you could think of it in those terms.
You could,
right? Like maybe something entered. Who knows? I'm just exploring ideas.
Well, if you became an alcoholic,
Robbie, he just sat right next to John. He always picks the newest person. someone who's never been here before ever, he goes right up to them and he's like,
He wants to make them comfortable.
I don't
I've been here
know.
before.
I think he
This is
does.
actually
Well, no, you have been here before.
this
but
dog's my pal. I don't know if you remember. You weren't here that week. During the meeting, he came and he curled up
Yeah.
under my
No,
leg.
but also
and
during-
he just sat there all the whole meeting.
But also during pretty much the whole last podcast you did, I feel like the whole podcast he was just right next to you.
Yeah.
You were like petting him the whole time, if I remember correctly.
Wow. No, he's my pal.
Yeah.
That's we're kindred spirits.
Here's one thing that I want to talk about a little bit, right, Billy? Me and Danielle were talking about this the other night because we were watching Kanye doing this interview with Joe Rogan.
I was just watching that today. I
So
had no
you-
idea who this dude was. I was doing housework and shit, and I like to listen to podcasts when I'm doing mindless shit at home.
Yeah.
And so I just was like, Joe Rogan, he's all right. And I put on Joe Rogan, and
Yeah.
it was just this dude talking, and I wasn't even seeing him. I'm just listening, and I'm doing the dishes and cleaning shit out of the cabinets, and I'm hearing this conversation. It's going on for hours and hours, and I'm like, this dude's interesting, man. And then he starts talking about,
God.
because I'm a fucking superstar, rock star, real famous. And I was like, who the fuck is this guy?
Right.
He is really famous.
Well, I had no idea who he was, but he's a man of God.
Yeah.
And he was like talking some real truth and stuff.
Yeah, right?
And I was like, wow, this dude's pretty cool. Who is
Yo,
he?
that's
I had no
so-
idea who he was.
Yeah.
I don't listen to media or anything, And
That's
then
so cool.
On the way over here, I asked Big Paul, hey, you ever hear this guy something or other? And he was like, oh yeah, that dude's like big deal, blah blah blah.
Yeah. I mean,
Kardashian, all this.
some would argue that he's maybe the most influential. What do you think, Greg? Kanye's got to be at least in the top 3 most influential human beings
No
alive.
fucking way.
Like not just in the music industry. And the
Whoa.
cool the thing that I'm excited about is that he's running for president.
Well,
Kanye 2020.
I don't think he can.
No, he can and he is, but he won't win. But
No, I mean, I think he said something about like he registered too late or something.
Well, now you have to do it special. You have to like write it in or something.
did
You have to write his name on your ballot.
He's on your ballot. You saw him. Okay, so he is. But
But he's like kind of like okay with Trump,
he's
Yeah.
okay with everything. That's
which
the thing.
is I'm going to
goes
say it, man.
against
I'm okay with
everything.
Trump.
Right, yeah.
Norm.
Yeah, me too.
I'm okay with all human. Well,
No, I'm not okay with fucking reptilian agenda.
Yeah,
I'm not okay
Well, I
with the
mean-
fucking New World Order. I'm not okay with the fucking Chi-Coms. I'm not okay with fucking censorship, oppression, and fucking genocide. I'm not fucking okay with that shit.
Want to
neither
get
am I.
into adrenochrome and
Not
multi-generational abuse?
Not interested in that.
No,
shit.
I mean like just talking about it.
Yeah, let's talk
Let's
about
talk
it.
about
Let's
it.
fucking
Well,
talk
hold
about this
on,
shit.
dude.
We're going down the rabbit hole.
Down we go.
hold on. I wasn't.
He wasn't done.
I wasn't even able to say what I wanted to say. So Kanye is talking to Joe. He's still waiting for another fist bump.
Oh.
We'll go there. I
Good.
just wanted to say that Kanye was talking about demons and some people
Yeah.
being possessed, and me and Danielle started kind of, I guess you would say, maybe arguing a little bit about it because
Were you the pro or the con? Is what I want to know.
it's not that simple, and that's what I love about Kanye and the way he was describing things is and I think one of the reasons that he wore the MAGA hat and met with Trump and was like he will be because he was like, yo, you think I'm supposed to be this guy in this box, this rap, hip hop, but I'm not going to be that guy. I'm going to think free.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
not gonna,
It was.
I'm not going to like just assume or follow the sheep.
Yeah.
And my whole thing with that was like when he was doing that a while back, I was kind of like, yo, that's kind of dope. Like he's going to the president and trying to affect change. What else are you going to do? Complain and argue and talk shit? Or are you going to go and see if maybe you can get through to this person or get on the same page or find some similarities? Like all Rudi was talking, I just recently kind of went on like a little bit of a rant on social media and kind of got in trouble for it.
What'd you rant about?
White privilege.
white privilege, Donald Trump, us being divided as families and friends because of our political opinions, getting canceled because someone doesn't agree with you.
Not being able to say your opinion without getting raked over the coals.
One of my friends like texted me that I'm like, you know, of lesser intelligence for even considering Trump to like be a human and not some demon.
Yeah, because these people are fucking mind controlled and brainwashed by the fucking corporate media that's owned by fucking China, and they don't even know it.
China.
So I kind of went on a little bit of a rant, and I'm like, I don't really know much. I definitely don't have as strong of an opinion as you, just because I don't know for sure anything.
But that's smart. You have an opinion that is open to more information before you.
Yeah, and I have friends and people I work with who have different opinions, and I want to hear what they're saying, and I'll read and look at all the shit from a place of humility, and I don't want to attach my ego to anything, because I know that whatever I see, I only believe half of it. If I see it with my eyes, I believe half of it. And if I hear it, I don't believe any of it. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm just kind of like, all I really know to be true is that God exists with our relationships to one another, and you know, love grows from forgiveness, and these spiritual principles are how we should be living our life. That's all I really know for sure. But I was kind of arguing with Danielle. I was like, you know, I think it's dangerous throwing around words like possessed and demon, because if someone's possessed by a demon, you might justify murdering or killing them rather than trying to get the demon out and fix or help this person to grow. And that's where I'm concerned. I'm concerned with like, okay, this person's possessed by a demon, or in my words, they're in a lot of fear. They have a lot of trauma. They're sick, right? How can we help that person to get better? And I think all people have the potential to get better. So if you just simplify it by saying, oh, this person's a fucking demon, then it's like...
No, it's not the person is a demon. The person is sick. The person is suffering from a spiritual malady, okay? Because every spiritual malady must manifest itself in a physical manifestation, or in a mental illness, or some sort of material world manifestation. So, but it all starts in the spirit world, and people, you know, in this godless culture, people don't want to even consider that.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh, that's fucking voodoo, witch doctors, all this fucking, you know, Western, you know, left brain bullshit. But the fact is that every illness, every disease, every malady has a root in the spirit world, and that's the only place it can be healed. And the proof positive of that is what Alcoholics Anonymous has manifested over the last, 70 years or something? You know, AA started with two fucking drunks talking about their fucking weird shit together in a room, and next thing you know, it's the fastest growing spiritual movement in the history of fucking mankind. You know, it's all over the world. It's healed and made whole, you know, millions of people, and for every one of those millions of alcoholics that has recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body, their recovery has touched the lives of countless others. So, you know, it's like this tsunami of light just sweeping over the fucking planet, man. And it is based in spirit. It's not in Alcoholics Anonymous. We don't tie you down on a fucking table and fucking inject shit into you.
It's by choice.
It's by choice. It's by choice, which comes from a tremendous beating. You know,
you're beat into submission.
Well, it's like almost the last option.
Yeah, if you don't want to die,
you're almost like,
or even you do want to die, but you don't, and so here you are. What are you going to do?
9 out of 10 alcoholics would rather die in the gutter than submit to, you know, God, some higher authority.
How do they explain that in the book? The choice of having a spiritual solution or dying a miserable alcoholic death can be a hard one or something
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
I'm not even really sure I want to be sober right now. I was discussing that with Wickham earlier today. I was
Well,
like,
you might need to go out and
I like,
experiment some more.
no, I'm like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna kill myself with my alcoholism, and it's sort of like,
Most alcoholics would rather die in the fucking gutter with a fucking dick up their ass than get sober.
I have so many things I want to do though.
Like what? That you couldn't be sober and do?
No, that's not
no,
what she's saying.
I'm saying that if I was drunk, then I couldn't do the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
So I'm making the choice to get better. Like,
But
I was at my wit's end.
It
you know?
needs to come from a desire to just be free of alcohol and drugs.
I don't know where it comes
Well, the
from.
desire generally that desire in most successful recoveries comes from a thorough fucking beating.
Yeah, we don't want to watch
It's
you
like-
get beat. You're not even recovered from your last beating.
No, I'm not. Can we get into to adrenochrome and like monarch mind control programs?
Take it away.
Okay, so have you read Transformation of America by Kathy O'Brien?
I read it 20 years ago. That's how long I've been studying this shit.
Okay, well, you got several years on me because I was born 24 years ago. But Transformation of America is a
Kathy
book.
O'Brien.
It's by
She's
Kathy
a
O'Brien.
Fucking hero. Triumph of the human spirit
Yes.
there, man.
So this
Anybody
is a
listening should
documented-
read that book.
Totally. Go buy it. Order it on Amazon. Like
It's spelled trance, like the word-
TRANCE.
No, TR. Yeah.
And then formation.
Trance-formation of America.
So the description of this book is it's a documented autobiography of a victim of a government mind control program, Kathy O'Brien. She is the only vocal and recovered survivor from a Central Intelligence Agency MKUltra Project Monarch mind control operation. So for those of you that aren't familiar with the Monarch mind control program or MKUltra, it's a brainwashing program that was implemented by the CIA, and it involves hallucinogenic drugs, LSD.
They were using it on prisoners.
They also put
in prison.
Like chips in your
Charles
brain.
Manson was MKUltra.
There are so many people who are and this actually falls into
Have
the
you read that
entertainment
newest book
industry
about
as well.
that?
No.
Sorry.
No, but I knew Manson
You did personally?
personally.
Were you a follower?
I was never a follower, but I was involved with the Manson family when I was a teenager.
Okay, so before he was even
Before any of
the
that
Sharon
shit.
Tate.
No, I was.
There's a new book you got. I can't remember. Joe Rogan had the guy on.
Oh, I saw
He
that.
spent 20 years making the book.
Yeah. I saw that interview, and I do want to read that
Pretty
book.
convincing coming from this guy because he made it his life's work.
Yeah. I want to read that book, actually.
Jonathan, can you eloquently describe what the benefits of the entertainment industry or the elites of our country, of our world, are of adrenochrome and like extracting the adrenal gland? Like, how would you describe that in your own words?
Well, first of all,
I can't because I don't have firsthand experience with it, so I can't describe it.
Then if
at
you had
all.
to speculate,
I could speculate.
well, here, before you do that, do you believe that's a thing? A real thing?
Fuck yeah, I believe it.
well, then that's where I'm getting at. Like, can you explain it as eloquently as possible from what you speculate about it?
Well, there's entities that attach themselves to human beings.
Most of the time,
Mostly people-
multi-generational abuse, whether
Yeah.
you be like spiritual, like Cherokee, people who come from like extremely spiritual backgrounds.
This I don't know.
So it comes from like hereditarily, if you're from like an Indian family, like I have Cherokee in my family, and I'm also Polish, and there are certain things like it's multi-generational abuse. And I mean, I'm a firm believer that I have some personal experience with it myself. I'm not going to get into that, though, because I don't want people fucking, you know. But, like...
Oh, come on.
Do you really want me to get into
Yeah.
it?
Not yet.
Okay.
Well, specifics are always good when telling stories.
Okay.
Like my books, everything is very specific. There's, when I write, I show, I don't tell.
Okay. Well, somebody, when I was very young, from age 6 to age 13, so a large part of my adolescent life, I was given certain supplements that I believe put me in a mind-altering state, and then I was made to listen to hypnotism on a regular basis, and I was also abused on a regular.
Who subjected you to this?
I'm going to leave that.
But it was somebody very close to you?
A family member.
Yeah.
And
It wasn't just some random...
no, it wasn't just a random person. And I believe that this person was, let's not say blackmailed into selling me into this program.
There's a lot of that.
But I think that this person got caught doing something that they shouldn't have, probably having to do with
Right.
pornography, something
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
And they said, if you don't want to go to jail,
Yeah.
you sell
Yeah.
your child that is the most
Yep.
empathetic into this program.
Oh, yeah. Blackmail is a big part of their protocol.
Yeah, so it happens in families, and that's actually what happened to
That's how they get all these politicians
Christy
to
Allen.
do what the fuck they want them to do.
It's all about, like,
They've
acquiring
got dirt on these
blackmail.
people.
Yeah.
They've got dirt on them. They've got, kiddie porn. They've got, weird, closet weird shit that they don't want known. And
so that's either the initial
Who's
thing.
they?
the politicians have, all
No,
kinds
no,
of...
but who's the they that has them dirt on them?
The deep state.
The deep state,
The CIA,
beyond the CIA.
It's like a-
So it's
branch
a
of the
government
CIA.
agency?
A lot of it is.
Well, it's a secret government. It's the government behind the curtain.
Yeah. Big Brother, if you will.
It's the shadow government.
But it's an organization, a group.
A great teacher about this stuff. I mean, I always, when I'm asked about this kind of stuff, I always refer people to my teachers. David Icke is an amazing teacher. You know who that is, right?
Yeah.
David Icke is just the most incredible. I think he's probably the most important voice on this planet today.
I want to know
this
more
world.
about your experience with the Manson family.
Well, I wrote a book that goes into that pretty heavily, and it was, it's all part of a whole weird confluence of circumstances that, when you weave it all together, it's just part of my destiny. It was part of my journey through this life. I didn't spend a lot of time with the Manson family. I was kind of in and out of there. Mm-hmm. But, it definitely later in my life, looking back on it and writing these books, I realized how that association tied into so many other weird circumstances in my life that it was all woven together in this surreal tapestry that, sort of forms my story.
So let me ask you a question. So my parents used to ride horses up there too, and they would be greeted by the Manson family, and they just were like hippies.
Yeah.
Were they just like a hippie group that was hanging out up in Santa Susana or
Well,
something?
my experience with them was exactly that. I was 16-year-old kid, dropping acid.
You're a firm believer that Charles Manson was an MKUltra mind control slave, though.
It's pretty... Well, I don't know if he was a slave. I mean, there's so many different stories about how that all came about.
From that book, he says he would go to prison, get in jail, and he would just get out free cards from some higher officials.
Right.
No, you got to let him go.
Yeah, because they wanted to create this situation, this whole thing.
The helter-skelter.
Well, because I wrote about this.
No, you got to listen to this podcast. It's a Joe
Dude,
Rogan one. It's not too
I wrote
old.
about this. And basically what it was a gang of murderous hippies. You got to understand, in the 60s, see, I was a teenager in the 60s, and in the 60s, there was a massive split in America politically. There was the Vietnam War, and there was, the military-industrial complex, making loads of money off the Vietnam War of just, also slaughter. I mean, it's literally modern sacrifice.
Or Sweet Boy.
It's blood sacrifice. They send these kids off to war to die, and it's a blood sacrifice that satisfies these malevolent entities, yeah?
Yeah.
So, the Vietnam War was very valuable to the powers that shouldn't be on many, many levels. It was
feeding these negative
It was feeding
entities.
these negative entities, and it was also making them, oodles of money.
Yeah.
The military-industrial complex was making money. The entities that feed off, torture and fear and death and suffering were enormously happy. So, there was a big vested interest in keeping the Vietnam War as bloody and as drawn out and as horrible as they possibly could. And on the other side, you had these liberal hippies. Liberal used to be a good thing, by the way, before it was co-opted by fucking fascists. Okay, so So back then, you had these liberal thinking, do-gooding kind of hippie people that wanted to stop the war. There was massive protests in the streets all over the country. The country was divided, and the CIA had a vested interest in trying to stifle all this protest, but it was a popular movement. It was going on. It was happening. It was in the streets. The people were like, this country was split right down the middle. I mean, I remember the protests. Thousands of people in the streets, man. So the CIA came up with a brilliant plot. We get a fucking hippie to go on a bloodthirsty murder spree with a bunch of hippies. These are the same hippies that are protesting the Vietnam War. So once the hippies are associated with this horrible massacre, horrible thing, that's going to discredit. It was basically, like a psyop, a psychological operation to discredit the anti-war movement, which was huge in the 60s.
Didn't Manson as well, study L. Ron Hubbard and also Aleister Crowley? So he had a very strong background.
All of that.
In mind control.
Yeah.
But where does that desire come from to absorb?
He was taught how to do it by the CIA.
He was taught. Yeah, he was a CIA operative.
So Jonathan, what really sold you on this idea? Because for me, my firm belief comes from personal experience, but what really made you be like, oh shit, this is real?
A lot of things.
Did you see something?
I've seen a lot of things. I grew up in a family of Hollywood royalty, okay?
Okay, you get it then.
So, my mother was part of the early LSD experiments. She was a total alcoholic.
She sounds like she was part of MK then as well.
She was. And
that's hereditary,
and her
so
best
you have
friend
that as
was
well.
dating the scientist Gottlieb, who was basically the MKUltra guy.
Yeah.
That was close to my family. So I
Shit.
grew up around this stuff, but I didn't know anything about it until I was much, much older.
Well, because I watched this movie over the summer, and it's called Ready or Not, and it's about the elites and the very strange practices that they have. And this elite family that they basically own, the way that they made most of their money was through board games and whatnot. And they made a Faustian contract where they sold their souls to make this money. So there's one scene in the movie where the son is confronting his mother because he does not want to have to do the sacrificial shit that they have to do in order to maintain their Faustian contract. And he says, when you grow up around these things, you don't recognize that they're off or that they're strange until somebody else says something, or maybe one day while someone's slitting the throat of a lamb, it clicks for you that maybe not all families do that. But when you're exposed to it from very young age, like it's not strange to you.
Of course.
So like it was just like normal for the things that were going around.
It's normal, and at the same time, it is so perverse and it's so repugnant that the human spirit,
it rejects it.
It rejects it automatically. I mean, I
felt dirty like 90% of my childhood, and I blocked a lot of it out.
Horror, just abject horror.
Like where your heart's in your ass. Yeah, all the time.
That's why I started drinking and became an alcoholic. You know, I mean,
same.
You know, because I could not stand the reality of my circumstances, and all I wanted to do was get as far the fuck away. I immigrated to fucking Brazil when I was 20 years old. Mm-hmm. I fucking left the country when I was like 18 and hitchhiked, you know, through Mexico with no money until, you know, I ended up in this port town and shipped out, got work on a ship, and ended up in Brazil and jumped off the ship in Brazil and said, this is it, I'm immigrating to this country, and became a Brazilian citizen, you know, because I wanted nothing to do with my family of origin, my country of origin, of any of that.
I understand.
And I only came back here, you know, many years later as a sober man.
When you were ready to face it.
When I had to go and face all the demons, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
Jesus.
You know, written many books about it, and I've, you know, had to do, you know, deep, you know, healing work, and, you know.
Will you list your books so people can go?
Yeah, you just read them? Jonathan Shaw is my name, and you can find my books on Amazon. I've got an author's page. One book is called Scab Vendor, Confessions of a Tattoo Artist. That, you know, you'll find that, and then you can find all my other books from there. But, you know, that book was a deep archaeological dig into the circumstances of my existence, really, which, you know, I would have never written a book. I certainly didn't write a book, several books to make money, because there's no money in that. But I did it literally to save my soul, because I had to, you know, I had to find some creative expression for all the fucked up shit that, you know, happened in my life. I had to take that shit and convert it into something useful. First for myself, and then maybe for somebody else. I don't know. But
I mean, I am definitely finding it cathartic to talk to somebody who has a similar experience to me, because, I mean, most of the time I walk around feeling like I'm just fucking insane.
No, there's a lot of people that that can relate to this stuff more and more, because, you know, this is the time of the apocalypse, and the apocalypse means the lifting of the veil.
Yeah.
So that everything that was in shadows
understanding
is being exposed to light. You know, this is the Kali Yuga. This is the great destruction of all illusion, all hidden agendas, all the bullshit is going, you know, up in smoke.
The age of Aquarius.
So the apocalypse is not the end of the world. It's just the exposing of falsities.
Yes.
Well, that would connotate the end of the world for anybody who's attached
as we know it,
to the
it's
illusions.
The end of the world that we know. Because it's a new
world of illusion
order.
But I always thought that was a bad thing, a new world order. Maybe it's a good thing.
Well, I mean, if you want to get into like age of Aquarius, which is essentially what we're living in right now, it's like...
You could say the new world order, which is definitely a bad thing.
Yeah.
But the new age, which is what, you know, these new age types, and by the way, that's also been heavily co-opted by nefarious...
So the New World Order
entities.
Is essentially...
Yeah, it's just all semantics, man.
So
we know that there's the darkness, we know there's light.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that starts off positive and grows seems to be commandeered by...
Immediately, if not sooner.
Or perverted in the process of...
Immediately, if not sooner. Look at
religion.
Black Lives... Look at Black Lives Matter.
It's not what it once was.
Black Lives Matter. I mean, of course Black Lives Matter. That's a great thing, you know. Nobody should, you know, hurt black people or any people. So Black Lives Matter, yeah, right on. And then, you know, you've got like a billionaire Nazi George Soros taking, you know...
They go where the money is.
They follow the money, and you will know...
They go where the influence is. And anything that's going to have a large amount of power and influence, like he was saying, they hop on the train far before.
But here's the thing that irks me about it. So if someone comes up to you and says, hey, does Black Lives Matter? I don't want to say yes, because it's not what it was. It's like, no, I'm not going to kneel to your fucking power over me because I won't say that. You know what I'm saying?
No, of course. Of course. No, but they're very clever. They're beyond clever. They're genius.
And
They are
it's
genius.
not
Their
helping.
strategies are, Machiavellian strategies are fucking well thought out. They're not stupid. And it's so easy. That's why it's so easy for very few to control the many. It's like the sheepdog and the fucking flock of sheep.
Yeah.
You got 500 sheep, and you got one German shepherd goes, rah, 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 and all the sheep get in line. If those 500 sheep said, wait a minute, we're not having this, fuck you, and they turned on that fucking dog, they would trample the fucking thing.
Rami knows that this is hard for us to talk about. He knows that it's like not.
Well, he's not a sheepdog, but yeah,
No,
he's related.
He knows that, like,
He's a cousin.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why he went and sat by you.
I mean, it's
He
really.
knew I was going to say that.
No, I was just saying he knows that it's I mean, this is the first time I've ever talked about my personal experience with the deep state, like, and had it recorded.
So why don't you tell us a little bit more about that
You
experience?
ever listen to... I'm sorry. Wait, did you ever listen to Laura Eisenhower?
I have to pee.
I believe so. It's just
Next.
Okay.
expand upon it.
She's amazing.
I've listened to Christy Allen. and
Laura
she's
Eisenhower is the great-granddaughter of Dwight D. Eisenhower, who was president when I was born.
Okay. Yeah, I think I have.
He's the guy that, when he was leaving the office of president, he got up and gave this heroic speech where he said, there's a great danger in this country I want to warn you about. And he basically talked about the military-industrial complex, and he talked about the deep state. And, he waited until he was leaving the presidency so he wouldn't be assassinated, I
Didn't
guess.
he say that in a speech? It was like a
It was
globally televised speech, and he said something about the New World Order.
Yeah. Kennedy's another one that tried to warn people.
He really did, especially about like the secret space program and the public
All
space
that
program.
shit.
I mean, NASA is all wrapped up in this shit as well.
All of it.
So,
No, there's a lot going on. But Laura Eisenhower is interesting because she's the great-granddaughter of Dwight D. Eisenhower, who was, this hero kind of president, decorated four-star general before he became president. Like, I don't know much about it because I was like 3 years old or something, but his great-granddaughter is connected to him genetically.
yeah.
And she's become this incredible sort of channel, like talk about spirit guides. Like her great-grandfather is her guide, and she's exposing a lot of stuff,
See, I'm a cult legacy on both sides. Like, one side is a 33rd degree or higher Freemasonry, and then the other side is like all the way up in Knights of Columbus.
Whoa.
So on both sides, it's like
Wow.
hereditary, multi-generational abuse
Wow.
shit. And, these are things that have come up later in life, but I remember being taken to all these military bases and even riding on this underground train from like one side of the country to the other in these leather seats wearing like a white jumpsuit, and they would like sedate me and I would ride on this train, but I would be drugged up like a lot of the time.
Holy shit.
So it's just like I have these things flash up.
Yeah.
And they come up, and I also have this other memory. I'm sure you're very familiar with the most dangerous game hunts that happen with the elites. I had this memory come up, I think, when I was like 19, 20, and that's when I started drinking a lot to start to just repress what was coming up. I have this memory of running through, it was somewhere in the north, I assume it was Michigan, which Michigan was where a lot of these a lot of these programs take place, because there are elites up there.
Sure.
I was running through the woods
Interesting.
in these birch trees without shoes. And these birch trees were marked by blood.
Wow.
And I was running and not screaming. Ever since I was like very young, when I get scared, I get very quiet and I get very quick. That's how I respond to trauma. But I had to pull this wooden crisscross gate off of a house and crawl underneath this house and pull the gate back too. And I stayed there until the sun came up in the morning.
Wow.
And then they told me that I could come out because it was over.
Whoa. Wow.
So
Yeah.
those are the things that are coming up. And it's...
Well, let it come, because it needs to come up. You need to purge all that shit.
I'm only 14 days sober,
Well,
without
this is what's going to
alcohol
come up.
and weed.
This is what's going to come up. This is what's going to come up. It's incredibly painful. It's excruciating. I've been sober 20 years.
I'm almost in disbelief
My
that it's
first
happening.
year of sobriety was like pulling teeth without anesthesia all day, every day. Guess what? I'm so grateful for that today. I'm so grateful because I purged so much fucking venom and poison through that process that would have killed me, and not just physically, but spiritually. Like just would have just annihilated everything. I mean, whatever pain and suffering that I went through to get to where I am now is like nothing compared to the pain and suffering that I would experience for all eternity if I hadn't have done this. So, that's what I was telling you a couple weeks ago. It's like...
I mean, it's saving me to a certain degree.
No, you have no idea. You don't even know.
I mean, I don't know what the ramifications are
If you
for
had
me not
any idea,
cleansing this out.
if you had any idea how much poison is in you that is going to be purged from you spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally through this recovery process, if you had any idea right now how much poison you have at this point in your recovery, your brain would explode.
I mean, I'm taking it. They say that your brain only allows you to remember what you can handle and what you can process.
That's the merciful part.
So that's what's going on. I can't remember whole things.
It comes
It's
it
giving
comes
me little
organically,
pieces.
it comes homeopathically, it comes as it comes, and it's going to come as and when you are ready to confront each demon, each dose of poison, as you're ready to purge the next dose. It's an ongoing thing.
So do you have memories, or did you have memories come
My
up like
God, the downloads were like beyond anything I could have possibly, created without divine intervention. The downloads, when they came, it was like, like the Matrix, that all those letters and numbers, it's just like, brrr,
But
and
for
I
me, it
became
was
a
the
channel
woods
for
thing.
this shit.
But for me, it was the woods thing and the hypnotism and the twist of
Dude, you have no idea how-
religion, because people used
You were so
Catholicism.
rich, though. You were so rich. All of this stuff that you're carrying, that you are purging, that you're going to recover from. All of this stuff is your treasure trove, man, by which you can help
Because
so many people to recover. You can help this world to heal. You could be a real...
I mean, people need to know about this, because brainwashing is like a sliding scale. It goes from like the personal things, but then it's like, it's media. It's like,
Everything.
it's what we hear, it's what we see,
It's on
it's what
every
we breathe,
level.
it's what we eat. It's
Everything.
like everything is poison.
Everything.
So
Everything.
It's like that Tim and Eric song that's like, all the food is poison, all the food is poison. And it's like, it's so strange because that's like a joke show.
Yeah.
But it's so literal. It's like
Chemicals.
everything is fucked.
Everything. This world, this society, this social structure, this system, what the Rastas call the shitstem, is upside down. Good is bad. Bad is good. You know, right is wrong, wrong is right. It's like whatever.
It's the inverse.
It's got to be. Whatever they're saying is an exact photo negative of the truth. It's the exact opposite. So when they, you know, I mean, you know, it's an old saying. I mean, to be well adjusted in an insane world is not a good thing.
So what was your most dangerous game experience? Yours.
Mine was fucking heroin addiction.
Okay. Yeah.
Self-inflicted.
Self-inflicted. But familial, what you were running away from.
Oh my God, you know, just incredible violence, not perpetrated against me, but I mean, by the time I was, you know, 15 years old, I'd witnessed 2 suicides, 1 homicide. This is all in my immediate family.
Jesus Christ.
You know, I mean, witnessed. Like, you know, and that was like, wow. Something inside of me was like, you know, of course I was attached to these people. It's my mother, it's my father, it's my, you know, caregivers, my aunts, my uncles. It's like everybody in my family, completely dysfunctional, violent, insane. You know, I personally witnessed 2 suicides and 1 homicide.
Was it ever sacrificial?
You know, it's always sacrificial on some level.
Yeah.
Because there's always some entity attached to those, you know, happenings. Was it like what you're talking about, what you experienced? No, not on the surface.
But spiritually, yeah.
Spiritually, fuck yeah.
Same thing.
So, you know, of course I had to endure that growing up. And that's what I wanted. There was, you know, I mean, of course I had an attachment to these people, which split my consciousness into like almost this schizophrenic.
And it creates amnesic barriers. See, I have like passive borderline. So I have dissociative identity disorder. That's why sometimes when you're talking to me, I come across either really adult or very childlike because there are these different alters.
Sure,
I've noticed that.
I have alters.
Wow. You're like a little kid, or you're
Just
like
for those who don't know what
24-year-old. It's
so
like
alters.
what? Wow.
Alters is
like
the definition of alters is
if you honeycomb a mind and you traumatize a child from a very young age,
they split into
you
different
split your
personalities.
consciousness, and it creates these amnesic barriers
they
where
call
your
alters.
consciousness
Yep.
they don't know about each other. And I didn't realize that I had them until like, 1920. And then I started being like, what is this physical personality and emotional switch that I'm doing where sometimes I'm a child, other times I'm a woman, other times I'm sexual, and they're so, it's like black, white, and red. If I had to assign colors to my alters, they're like different people.
So how did you go from all that to like learning about Kathy O'Brien and reading her book and suddenly discovering all this fucked up shit that was, because up until then you sort of was just like, well, this is life, right?
Yeah, I mean, I accepted it as my reality.
Right.
And then
so how did you go from
I think
that
probably
to this?
by divine intervention. I think that God, my spirit guide, whoever you want to, give credit to, was like, I'm going to throw you this bone. And I stumbled across the information, and then I was like, I am a walking recorder. I can remember shit in its entirety because of the amnesic barriers. I can remember entire sales pitches. Like I was a CAD/CAM engineer from 19 to 21. I was designing engagement rings on AutoCAD software.
Damn.
And working for the fine jewelry industry, I would hear my boss give like 35-minute long sales pitches once, and then I'd turn around and I'd do the exact same thing, and then I'd sell things and sell things.
Memory.
I have a photographic memory as well. But when I was getting fucked up on weed and alcohol and everything, I was like,
you wanted to kill that.
It dulled everything
Yeah, you wanted to kill that
I
because it's
didn't
painful.
I didn't want to like be associated with the positive benefits of what had happened in my mind in my adolescent years. But then when I got given this information, I was like, wow, how powerful is this shit? I can't continue to condemn what's happened to me instead of use it for a positive.
For sure.
You know?
For sure.
It's insane.
For sure. I mean, some of the bravest, most eloquent, most powerful people in the world that I have learned from and listened to are people who have experienced that extreme levels of abuse and trauma, and because it either makes you or breaks you. And you know, the broken ones, you know, they're the walking wounded that we see in the streets, you know, in the tents, homeless,
And the ones that die and are looking for vessels to run.
Yeah, those wandering spirits. But the ones that triumph by the grace of God over these circumstances, they become the most powerful teachers and healers. I mean, fucking lights, like so bright, like blinding lights, you know. So, you know,
I'm on my way to figuring it out. Like I think that in the exploration of it, I mean, I never know enough. I really don't think anyone who experiences this can really know enough about, you know, like your consciousness getting split and programmed and hypnotism and trauma. Like,
you can recover.
I could never find enough information about it. Anytime I hear anyone who just like even touches slightly on it, I'm just like, give me all your information. That's why I'm so curious about you.
Good. David Icke? Have you learned from David Icke?
All these names you're saying are so familiar to me, but like I have my favorites.
Yeah,
you know,
well,
that
I think
I've watched
David
all
Icke would be one of your favorites.
I believe
He's British.
I believe I've listened to him
Brilliant.
speak.
Yeah, I mean, he gets up on a stage and speaks for fucking 10 hours straight without taking a piss, without a drink of water. He's just like,
That's what you do.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, like my ability to just like go and go and go and go. I'll work like 10-hour days.
Yeah.
I won't fucking eat all day.
Yeah.
And, you know, like the trauma I know ties into like a lot of my disorders like anorexia and shit like that, because I'm like, if I can't control anything else, I can control how thin I am, or like I control not eating.
But you're on a mission, man.
Yeah.
You've got a mission to fulfill, so, you know, don't fuck up.
No. I mean, it's better now.
You got a mission. Just remember that you have a holy mission, and if you fuck up knowing what you know, the consequences are far worse for somebody that knows what you know. You've been exposed to the truth. You're a truth seeker. You have a bright light inside you, and you know what you know. If you were ignorant and you fucked up, it'd be cool. But if you know all that you know and you fuck up now, the consequences are going to be way more severe. So don't fuck up.
I mean, I'm doing my best to make sure that I bring what I know and what I've experienced to light, because, I mean,
thank God.
If you don't bring it out, then you're dead.
You're fucked. You're dead. You're double dead. You're dead.
You're dead spiritually and you're dead fucking physically.
So you can't afford that.
No, I can't.
You can't. You know that, but you know it here. I hope you know it here too, in your gut, because that's where you really got to feel it. You know,
I mean, it's extremely visceral. Yeah. Like when it comes up, when anything triggers those past traumas, like it really feels like someone's like squeezing my stomach.
It's like a raw nerve. Guess what? Eventually, that pain subsides.
And does it just subside, or does it go away?
Subsides, comes back, goes away.
There's a wound, okay? There's a bleeding, infected wound. Mm-hmm. You expose it to the light. It's painful. It stings. Eventually, it starts to scab over. Mm-hmm. Eventually, it will form a scar. Mm-hmm. The scar will be stronger than the original skin. Does that make sense?
It does.
The scar tissue is actually twice as strong as the original unwounded skin. So when that wound heals, not only will it heal, but you'll be so much stronger because you had the wound and you healed it. That's just metaphysical law. And it's physical law. You know that, like, when a woman has a cesarean operation, you know, the skin is after that heals, that cesarean scar heals, that skin is twice as strong as the original skin.
Scar tissue is thick.
Very thick. So, you know, and we carry a lot of scar tissue.
Emotional scar tissue.
I'm a walking fucking wounded, you know, but I'm stronger than I ever would have been.
I feel like a fucking festering wound right now.
Well, that's because you're early on in this process, you know, and it has to be exposed. The wound must be exposed. You can't walk around, you know, covering it up like it's not there, because
it'll never heal if it doesn't get air.
Not only will it not heal, it'll get infected, it'll turn to gangrene, it'll fucking poison your whole system spiritually.
And I don't need any more poison in my system.
So so go through the healing process. It's painful, but you're strong. You have a strong spirit that has brought you this far. You have this awareness. Most people that went through what you went through would have, they'd have been finished a long time ago, or they'd be walking zombies. You know, you're here. You're in this process. Do you realize what power that shows that you carry? You know, and that's power, gift of God. Don't throw it back.
I mean, that's who I turn to for most of this, because, I mean, like I said, I had no clue what any of it meant. It was just considered the norm for me. I know it made me feel sick and my spirit was rejecting it, but like the divine intervention really gave me the information that I needed to cope with what happened with me and actually get a level of understanding that I wasn't insane, that this is something that actually happened to people.
Dude, it's so valuable what you're carrying. It's so valuable. The world needs lights. I mean, this right now we are on a cosmic battlefield. This is like the great royal battle for the sovereignty of not just this planet, but like
the universe.
The whole universe is involved. There's entities from all over the universe involved in this, this battle. Yeah. And you are right on the fucking front lines.
Spiritual warfare.
I mean, your soul, before you incarnated, chose to fucking go through all this, you know?
I mean, I'm a 9 in numerology, a life path 9. So I'm on the last run before I go up to become a master number and then come back down if I choose to do so. I can either take a break or I can come back down.
So you chose to be in this battle, and you're on the fucking front lines. You're like a fucking 5-star general or whatever, you know? I mean, you're not like just some foot soldier. Like, what you've been through puts you in the fucking elite core of the fucking, special services or whatever. So, you gotta...
You must be a 5-star general as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, but you gotta embrace that shit.
Yeah.
You gotta embrace that shit and, be grateful for it. The more, it's like...
I'm getting less scared of the consequences, because carrying the weight of those experiences without sharing them and shedding light on them is just like, it's so much more poison than...
But you'll always be able to share them, because the world is thirsty for this...
They want the truth.
For this wisdom, for this truth, for this light. The world is dying. It's parched. It's fucking... like
crusty ass old man
desert, just a fucking crusty old desert, and then you come Aquarius, the water bearer, and just everybody's just like, ah.
What do you think about like the age of Aquarius and like transhumanism, like the ability of enhancing our physical being so much, and even going as far to transferring our consciousness into this second dimension, like into the I forget, like, how should I say this? Essentially transferring everyone's consciousness into a computer. So we live forever, but that's the elimination of the actual natural cycle of our spiritual existence.
What do you think I think? I mean,
do you believe in it, right?
I believe that there's a whole push to create this.
We're on our way.
I think it's the most evil, anti-Christ, fucking satanic, fucking horrible thing.
Self-deification.
No, it's disgusting. It's beyond disgusting.
Playing God to an extreme.
Oh, it's Luciferian agenda. It's the most disgusting, horrible, evil. If there's such a thing as evil, that's where it's headed.
But see, it's like
it's Orwellian, man.
Yeah.
This is the fucking Aldous Huxley Brave New World.
Mm-hmm.
This is the fucking, this is 1984 times 100, and this is what's going on. This is what's going on.
We're
man.
living it. I mean, like, Billy's on his fucking phone right now.
What's he doing?
Billy, are you trying to upload your consciousness to the internet?
Have you given up on us?
Dude, you guys need to talk. It's a cathartic thing for her. I can't get a word in when I try to. So you help her and she gets help.
No, Billy, I want to know what your question was before you went to the bathroom.
Yeah. I'll go to the bathroom, and you guys, you just ask her a question, and when I come back, you can ask me a question.
Okay, I don't know what my question was, but...
Billy felt left out.
I'm sorry, Billy.
No, I'm good.
No, I mean,
Look, pets.
supposed to be moderating this shit while you're-
All right,
you're
I'm going to moderate.
totally abandoned ship anyway, so.
I'm glad you got some time with a real solid AA member,
Yeah.
and for whatever reason, you're able to open up to him, so that's good.
I mean, you knew a little bit of what I said.
Oh, yeah. I know some of your stuff. It's kind of interesting. I wouldn't mind hearing some more details and stuff.
Ask me questions. I'm here to answer.
Well, one thing I find, like you were talking about your personality, so sometimes you seem like a kid to me.
Yeah.
Like 12, 14-year-old kid.
Yeah.
But other times you don't seem 24. I mean, you look 24, but you seem
Much
like
older.
like I can talk to you. I can jive with you. And it feels comfortable. So it is kind of a trip, right?
No,
it's like
so-
you got both of those in you.
I actually have 3.
Oh,
if
yeah?
we're going to talk about my altars really quick. So I have like the child altar that I consider like baby Rudi. And I think that one formed when I went through a lot of my adolescent trauma. And that was sort of honeycombed into that one specific spot. But at the same time, it was like, because I went through that trauma, I had to create a extremely mature altar as well to take care of the child that was going through those really traumatic events. So it's like that happened. And then along with some of the other things that happened to me, I have a very sexual altar, but that's one that comes up rarely, but she's incredibly flirtatious and she knows when to come out. But it's like these 3 different people. Like the adult one is what I see in my brain. She wears black. She always wears black. She's like a career woman. And then the sensual one wears red because red is like the color of sensuality. And then the child altar, she wears like white, because she's pure and innocent.
How old is the child? I just go 14 because you're 24.
No, she's like 8 years old. She's like 7 or 8 years old. She's very young. It's not... She laughs at everything.
What was going on with you when you were 7 or 8 years old?
Well, that's when like a lot of the supplements and the hypnotism and the physical abuse and mental abuse and manipulation of
All right, so was
religion.
this a regular thing, like once a week or every day? This hypnotist drugging?
It was anytime I was at this person's house. So like
All How often were you there?
Well, my entire childhood, I was around this person every day from like when I was born to 6 years old. And then from that point, it was like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And also the other times that this person would kidnap me from school without permission and do things like that.
Do you believe this person was trying to bring something out of you? And do you believe 100% this is real? The hypnotism and the drugging?
Yes.
So when did this something that came to you recently, or
No,
you knew this the whole time?
I knew this. There are other things that have come up, when I hit adulthood, like 18, 19 years old, and things slowly reveal themselves as I'm able to deal with them. But as far as knowing about the hypnotism, the supplement stuff, I had known that was going on, but I didn't know that was abnormal until I was an adult. And then I was like, wait, not everyone grew up this way. What the fuck? I was just like, what happened to me?
Yeah. And so in some ways you seem really brilliant. I'm wondering if there was a positive effect.
We talked about that while you were in the bathroom, how, these altars, if you will, have given me the ability to almost be a walking human recorder. I can learn softwares in like 2 weeks. I can hear something and repeat it verbatim after hearing it one time. I can, what else can I do? These are the things that I can do. Like, I don't know. What's another question?
Wow.
So the same person would throw you off a boat 3 miles from shore and make you swim back to the shore.
Yeah, would show me incredibly horror shark movies,
Whoa.
And then would kick me off the boat and make me swim miles to shore. And I would, he almost let me drown when I was like 4 or 5 years old. And when we got back to shore, my mom like wrapped me in a towel, and I was like, like losing my shit,
So your
as a
mom
4-year-old
Mom
child.
was present at this time, and she allowed that to happen.
No, she was not aware that it happened until after the fact. And my mom was like, how could you let this happen? And this person said, you were the one that kept asking me to go further out in the water. To a 4-year-old child, like, it's your fault that you almost drowned because you asked me to go past where we could both touch, and we got knocked over by a wave, and I had to open my eyes after swimming down instead of up to realize that I was swimming the wrong way. And then I looked up and I saw I had like 20 feet to go to get to the surface, and I remember swallowing water and shit as I was going back up. So I had like that experience, and then going through the islands on this sailboat and like 20-foot swells, I get seasick, and I was forced to be on this boat and for like 2 to 3 weeks at a time and listen to these people fuck.
2 or 3 weeks on a boat?
Yeah, in 20-foot swells, getting kicked off the boat and being made to swim to shore, having to listen to these people fuck.
How old were you at this point?
11, 12 years old.
Sounds like a wild ride.
Yeah. Oh, do we have a lighter?
Somewhere.
I don't know where one is. Do you have any more questions, Billy?
All right, let's hear about the sexual one. That one's pretty intriguing. Do you use it to get your way, or does it just come out? So
Well, she knows when it's the right time. It tends to be, oddly enough, she loves authority figures. She loves people who are above her. It's almost like if you hear about this, and it's called the presidential model in altars, and it's an altar that, like, she loves authority figures. They're created to please, like, politicians and moguls and shit like that. And so that's she's very intelligent, but she's also sexual. So it's like a mixture of what someone would want. Like Marilyn Monroe was the first presidential model, you know? And she was doing that for JFK and also for some other dictators. Huh?
And Bobby Kennedy, too.
And Bobby Kennedy, you know?
Interesting how Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Bobby Kennedy's son, turned out to be this huge anti-vaccination activist.
Yeah.
Like, huge activist.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, he's amazing.
That's great. I mean, see, that just goes to show you that, like...
And he comes from that reptilian bloodline. But
I mean,
you could go the other way.
This person who did all this shit, he's got major lizard energy, if you know what I mean. Like, you know how, if you ever watch documentaries or like the Ted Bundy tapes,
yeah.
When you look at Ted Bundy when he's on film, he like, there's nothing behind his eyes.
Well, what I think you're saying is they're cut off from empathy.
Well, yeah, this person who did all this, though, like, not only were they cut off from empathy, but they thrive and they eat your negative energy. So the more traumatized I was, the happier he would be.
That gets into that substance you're talking about.
I could see that because
adrenochrome.
I could see that in my own self.
But because I think I was bloodline, you know, I mean, I wasn't subject to someone who was having it extracted. I'm bloodline, and then they were like, okay, so we're just going to shape this as we want it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But like,
But you were saying something about the indigenous people.
Mm-hmm. I have Cherokee and.
But how does that tie into the adrenochrome?
Well, so hereditarily, multi-generational abuse and trauma. So like, when Indian tribes would do certain ceremonies and things like that, I mean, it requires a certain amount of trauma because you're welcoming in spirits, you're having all these like crazy visceral dances and experiences, and you're seeing fire and you're burning things. And
when they hang from their tits and from their body parts, and they hang suspended in the air, incredibly painful.
So this trauma is passed down hereditarily, and that's why they call it the monarch mind control program, is because what do monarch butterflies do? They pass information through several generations.
On their migration,
On their migration. So that's why it's called the monarch mind control program, is because the more generations of abuse that you have, like, the easier you are to traumatize and program.
So
by splitting your consciousness and programming those altars.
And what's the ultimate goal of this?
Well, I mean, I think that a lot of it has already been...
to groom people for positions of power through which they can create, like, mass human sacrifice, a.k.a. war?
War, yeah. I mean, that, and I mean...
AI?
Yeah, artificial intelligence and this transhumanism thing. Like, it's all about self-deification. It's about eliminating the God. And man becoming its own God.
You guys got to watch this show, Raised by Wolves.
I started watching parts of that, and I was like, oh my God.
Catch up to me and we'll watch it together.
Yeah.
I'm on episode 6.
It's essentially about transhumanism.
It's a sci-fi, but it's the human race, and the world has now been destroyed. And there's atheist and there's the God tribe. There's two. The world is completely divided.
Talk about predictive programming.
Well, that's exactly what it is. This is basically, you know, it's a psyop. All these TV shows, I mean, they're really well produced, really well written, but it's all a psyop to prepare us subconsciously.
Predictive programming.
It's to prepare us for what's coming.
Yeah. It's so when these things come around, like when they ask us if we want to replace our heart or our lungs with technology
Dude, the technology.
will just jump on board because it's already been glorified in so many different programs.
I mean, they come out with this. Yeah, they come out with this thing that, like, the COVID-19, the fucking menus are dirty. They're evil. We can't touch menus, so we have to scan the fucking.
They're also
menu
getting rid of coin
on our
and
phone.
currency.
That's how they fucking
All right,
contact trace you.
You brought all the shit back to the studio?
Well, Pat has an argument on this. He
How
thinks it might be the
far-
evolution of the human race, and it's just natural.
How far
goodness.
left have we gone?
I mean, we're
Since
far
I've
down
been
the
So
hole.
far left that we're like right of right.
I'm a 5-star general
Yeah,
in spiritual warfare.
I like
apparently.
that. You're right. It's like weird. It's like, I heard someone, this guy I really like, he's the singer of the Wolves. Who's that guy? Tito Ortiz's friend?
I don't
What
remember.
is the significance of all this wolf? Because he's saying that transhumanism show is
he talks
raised by
about
wolves. And he's saying, what was the name of the band?
well, the lead singer of this band called Bad Wolves. He did this video about how he's like,
Predators.
Yeah. Okay,
They
keep
hunt
going.
Packs. It packs.
What? Come on, let us know too. You can't tell secrets on the podcast.
hold on. I had to step away. I'm really sorry. My wife is upstairs. There's a lot of people in her house. We have this Monday night thing. It's getting kind of crazy. We're spending a lot of money, building a brand. There's a lot of stuff we had to talk about. I'm sorry. I had to kind of step away. We're good. Everything's good. I just needed to kind of deal with that for a second. But no, this dude's talking about, did you guys all forget? The Republicans are the ones who fought for slavery. Mm-hmm. The Democrats were the ones who wanted slavery.
Yeah, but the rules.
It's
have
like somehow
switched.
that's been erased from the history books. That's what he said. I don't really know. I just think he was.
Cancel culture, cancel history, just rewrite history, knock down all the statues, do what we say.
Build obelisks.
This is neo-fascism. This is neo-fascism.
That's kind of how I see it. That's what scares me about it.
It's
Dude,
terrifying.
I was at Trader Joe's. You didn't see the video because you don't watch anything. But here, let me just show
I
you
really
this.
don't watch anything.
Let me see.
Sometimes
If,
I listen to shit, but
I'm gonna show you this.
I
Maybe
would love to listen to more shit.
We'll
Turn
watch.
me on.
We'll
send me some links,
Well, the trouble is, we got to email you.
What's wrong with that?
I guess nothing. I just don't email.
How about text?
Need like a tissue
What's
or
up?
something.
I tried to text you. Oh, what's
Here,
that?
watch.
Okay.
Watch this.
What is this?
I need like a tissue or something.
Do I want what? Mangoes? I got spicy mangoes.
So we're at Trader Joe's and I needed to walk outside to like spit because I have like an accumulation of mucus. And the guy at the front door was like, pick either in or out. And I'm like, well, what if I have to go outside to spit? Right? And he's like, you have to pick one, in or out. And I'm like,
Fuck
really?
you.
Or not?
Yeah, but now he's like talking to the person at the front thing, and it's gonna be a whole fucking scene. You know?
Is everything okay? One of my crewmates had some altercation.
I mean, it's chill. It's just like, if I have to go outside, I feel like that should be allowed. But he's like giving me a problem about it, and it's just like, it's just unnecessary. We don't need to be.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be like that. That's it. I just needed to go outside to I needed to spit. I'm sorry. It is what it is.
Okay. I mean, as long as you're feeling well and you're okay.
I mean, I'm fine.
Okay.
Oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
You fucking little
So
fascist
this is the kind of
piss
world
ant.
that we live in where the guy at the front door has
I'd have
to
nailed
go
it.
to his manager because I'm
You still have
going inside and outside and
Give me a fucking machete.
apparently
Sort him
leaving,
out.
walking out of the store is a problem for this guy. Why is that a problem? Why is walking?
I'm just trying to get my groceries done. Why does everything gotta be like a whole thing with you? Just stay in the store once you come.
Well, what if I have to spit?
Then go to the bathroom.
The bathroom's closed.
No, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Well, then swallow it.
Swallow.
Oh,
Swallow
sit on the floor like a good punk rocker.
It's just crazy that you can't, like, it's weird, like the rules. This is getting really, really crazy where you can't even go out and everybody is just so obedient. Everyone just follows more and more and more rules. More rules, more rules, more rules, more rules. Follow, obey, obey, follow, obey. Like life and death. You can't argue with that. Like the woman out there was like, he's trying to save lives. It's like,
Oh my God,
no, he's not.
a woman got involved in your thing too?
Yeah, and it's not about.
Leave him for 5 minutes.
It's not about saving life. How is me going outside and coming back in? How is that about saving? That's just about this guy being like weird about, you know, someone doing something that most people aren't.
Did you tell him on the way out, I'll be right back, I need to sneeze or something?
Yeah, I said I'm like sorry, I gotta spit or something, and he was just like, look, either in or out, either in or out. Like you can't come out and go back in. Like you can't do it because he has to like.
You're making me really get pissed off.
No. But so here's the thing, though, bro. Is like I'm
so patient and rational.
But I'm presenting something on my platform in a way where I'm having people look at it and there's people having a conversation under my post, right? I'm trying to shed a little bit of light on it. And I'm trying to have, I'm not trying to be angry but you have 25, there's all these different comments. And there are different people that have different opinions, you know, and I feel like I have to do my part just as a patriot.
Here's something I've learned.
will.
Here's something I've learned. This might serve you. This is something that I've learned through hard experience over a period of time.
John is fucking
That
gnarly, bro.
If these people, if
Veronica, you think I'm a crazy alcoholic?
listen,
This guy is like,
if
would
any,
have fought everyone in the store.
listen, man, if any person, okay, I'm going to wait until you're listening.
I'm listening. If any person is presenting you with an argument that is not based in rational, cognitive, critical thought process and research. In other words, they're just parroting what they heard on the fucking news. Right.
Their position is not based in any rationality.
Well, I mean,
so you can explain to them in 100 different ways what a rational position looks like, and you might as well be trying to describe a sunset to somebody who was born blind.
Yeah.
It's that futile. You cannot educate these people. You can't. They're incapable of digesting rationality because they are not based, their thought process is not based in rationality. So rationality to an irrational person is like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. It's not going to work.
So
Does
can
that make
I
sense?
say
That totally makes
something
sense.
here?
What's up,
So
Billy?
do you believe that most of the population is just sheeple ignoramuses?
I believe that a large number of people, like an overwhelming number of people, are completely living under mind control programs. Yes, because they've been polluted from cradle to fucking grave by systems of control, by nefarious, draconian, ironclad systems of control. Okay, I think that they there's fluoride in the water, there's chemicals in the food, there's fucking chemtrails dropping God knows what kind of fucking toxins into the atmosphere that they breathe. They go to the government indoctrination camps
I breathe
called
the air and
schools.
drink the water, and
You've been through a fucking spiritual fucking ringer, my brother. You have been through war and have come out victorious. You're 1 out of a million. But that's really important because you have so much power. You have so much power because of what you've been through and where it's brought you to. You're a survivor, man.
And we find each other as well.
We have to.
The ones.
Okay, I have to say something.
Of course.
Okay.
Go ahead.
This is my podcast. I want to say something. Okay.
I know.
No. So check it out. I appreciate your opinion. I respect it, but I think that I don't know how much of what. Look, so there's actual people commenting on this, right? Very true. LOL. That's one person. So that person's with us. Mm-hmm. All they do is make more laws that will never stop, or when they do, the people will say enough is enough. There's another person that's with us. Another person, 88 Doug, touching a mask all day to stay healthy. There's another person that's with us. People nowadays, so fucking ridiculous. The new world order is upon us. There's another person that's with us.
Rational.
And there's another person, Jonathan CY. You're 100% right. It's about control. The masks are shadows of communism on the horizon falling on, I refuse to wear a mask. So, okay, so here, hold on. There's 25.
Are you live streaming? How are they knowing this right now?
This is comments on my YouTube.
That's amazing.
And then here's another person. Stop being
to your YouTube. Sorry.
There's another person. Stop being a man. Stop being a man, baby. Silly. LOL. So she's just kind of having fun.
LOL.
As always, love you guys and good job standing up for yourself. Who cares how many times you go in and out? I mean, come on, that's crazy. Spit on their damn floor if they got an issue with you walking out.
Yes.
Okay, but so here's the thing: is I don't want to lose faith in humanity, because I do believe that people are smart, and I think we owe it to people. And then here's some other people that made me upset, who don't agree with me. So I'm like you. I get very angry and agitated. Trust me, you see me being calm in this video, but I'm a fucking hardcore punk rock. Fuck everyone. But I'm trying to use that to actually affect change. And the only way for me to do that is with love, right?
Yeah.
So
You're very rational.
So, and there are other people. So here's the problem with this thing that's happening right now. It's these rules are being made in the name of life and death. That's the thing, right? It's
how
like
they get you.
And they're going, but people are dying.
Says
like,
who?
The
Says
woman
the fucking
in the store.
big pharma controlled.
Well, let's
news.
not get angry. Let's just
I'm not angry. I'm passionate.
Yeah,
man.
me too. But like, so my thing is like, okay, yeah, man, that sucks. People have died, and I'm sorry, and I'm not taking anything away from that. It's horrible. If one of my family members died from this, I might have a different opinion on it. But more people are dying from cigarettes. More people are dying from the flu. So what about those things?
Well, let's ban cigarettes.
Well, why aren't we at least talking about it?
More people die from traffic accidents, so let's just ban cars forever.
So that's the conversation, is why are we not talking about those things? If human life is so precious and means so much to us, what is this COVID thing?
Can I read
Why
something?
don't we stop feeding them McDonald's and Taco Bell?
Yeah, you can read something, but I just want to
read you something. I
just hope this podcast doesn't get taken down.
It will.
It will.
Well,
no, you're not big enough to get taken down. You got to have at least 1 million subscribers to get taken down. Otherwise, you're just small fry.
Well, no.
If you post like some of the
You guys
highlights.
don't know what you're talking about. What are you basing this in? I've had videos taken down off YouTube for talking about the coronavirus.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then I guess you're not small fry anymore.
Now that is a problem. And they're meeting
Censorship?
all the different apps. Yeah, are meeting about this.
Oh, yeah.
This censorship that's happening online. It's not chill. It's not.
Okay, I want to read this to you. This is from Laura Eisenhower. Laura Eisenhower is the great-granddaughter of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, was the president of the United States when I was a kid, when I was born. This is from Laura Eisenhower wrote this. It says, from a Montauk Project survivor. Okay, you can appreciate that.
What's Montauk?
MKUltra.
Okay.
As you all know, my life is never boring. I get involved in things I never would have imagined. So it has happened again. But this time it's so incredible and sensitive and pertains to every person on this planet. I could be harmed for what I tell you now, but God is with me, and there is a reason I have been asked to reveal this to you. I received a call from someone who is very high-level executive in a mega global corporation. This person is working on a platform for the COVID testing programs and found out recently what they are really for and why the tests are being pushed so strongly in many countries. Before I go into that, it should be noted that the people on the various teams working under this person have no idea about the big picture because it is so compartmentalized. Because this executive is in the position they have, this person can see what is going on and does the testing of the software and programming. The project is originated and directed by the Chinese government, specifically the Chinese Communist Party and President Xi. But most shockingly, it is in partnership with the government of Taiwan and President Xi Jinping. Yes, despite what the fake global media has told you, China and Taiwan are working hand in hand. The reason for the warmongering is to divert attention from what I'm going to tell you now. The Chinese Communist government wants to map the genome of every human being on this planet. They purposefully released a fake virus, which is really a simulation that becomes a parasite created from your exosomes, so that fear and panic would envelop the world. Fear of death would force everyone to want to be tested. Media hype of exaggerated death rates and viral surges, forced lockdowns, and all sorts of restrictions. The Chinese-controlled WHO named it a pandemic in order to shut the world's economy and educational systems. The government of Taiwan, headed by the demonic Madame Tsai, removed all medical and health protections from Taiwanese citizens, making their personal health into public domain. In effect, all 24 million people of Taiwan have had their DNA taken and analyzed so that there is a database now of each one of them. The Chinese, in conjunction with the companies in the U.S. that are controlled by them, created a $12 device that can read the genome of the person who has taken a COVID test and creates a file of 5 gigabytes. It is then compared to the files already taken from millions of people to get relationships, similarities, and sequences, which then produce a file of 25 gigabytes per person. The idea behind this is once all people have been collected and analyzed, the Chinese can determine specific DNA sequences and nuances for individuals, families, ethnic groups, racial subgroups, etc., to devise methods of killing via illnesses, ELF, poisons, and other methods to remove all enemies wherever they are. They can create destruction for specific families, certain people within a family or group, or prevent procreation. And this goes on and on and on and on. There's
So getting the data is to do what? To get to know how to kill someone with a disease?
No, it's to control. If you don't want certain people reproducing, you create something just for that genetic thing. Or if you want to kill off a population, or
you just shut them down.
Yeah.
Or a family or any group of individuals. Now, we were talking about this new thing when you go into a restaurant, they won't give you a menu anymore because menus are dirty and you could catch the fucking COVIDs from the fucking menu. Okay? That's a total psyop. If you want to order something from a restaurant, you have to scan it onto your smartphone.
Right.
That now goes into a database, and then, say next week, somebody in the restaurant tests positive, okay, with an 85% false positive rate with these tests, RNA tests, 85% false positive. Somebody tests positive for the COVIDs in that restaurant. Now they go in the database and they trace everybody that's been to that restaurant. And the minute you put your fucking phone against that menu, contact tracing has begun for you, my friend. That's...
so for me, I'm just trying
you and everybody you know.
Okay, so I don't just like believe... I hear that and I'm like, okay, so Okay, so Billy, can you give me an example of like a group of people that they would want to exterminate?
Us.
Probably the Ridges.
But how but we're not all the same.
I don't know. No, I'm just reiterating what he said because you asked the question.
Right, I know, but like, let's try to figure out, does that make sense, or are we just believing the hype the same way the sheeps are believing the hype of the COVID thing?
I don't know if I believe it, but...
Just because I know from experience, most times things aren't all the way up here, all the way down here. I like to think that that's the way things are. Like me, I'm either the best or I'm shit. So maybe there's some middle ground, and I don't want to, I don't want to like...
There's
go
totally
into
middle.
either extreme. I want to think, what is it real? What's really probably happening? What do I think is really happening?
Well, you see the absurdity.
Yes,
obviously.
for
I
sure.
saw your
something.
Your thing in Trader Joe's was like totally incredulous. You were like, "What the fuck, dude? This is insane."
But what's really happening is this guy at the front door.
But you see people walking down the street, driving down the street in their cars with their windows
masks
rolled up
on.
with masks on. You don't see that there's something extremely insane going on?
Do you think
Like
someone's going to crash through your window and give you the COVID?
Like I said, I definitely think something's... Well, the people are afraid. I think, my wife wants me to lock the door in Agora Hills. Like, the fuck? She's afraid too. Like, people are afraid of a lot of things.
Look
Especially
at it like
since
this.
you speak
But
your
I
mind.
just don't know.
Look at it like this. Okay, say you're a cop. Say you are a criminologist, and some heinous crime occurred. The first suspect in that crime is going to be the person who most derives benefit from the commission of that crime, correct? Think about that. That's just basic criminology, 101.
Wait.
Who is the primary suspect in any crime is going to be the person who would logically derive the most benefit from that crime having been committed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah? So, in other words, follow the money.
Right, yeah.
Who benefits? Who benefits from this total fucking takeover, this insane, coup d'etat, nationwide, worldwide? Who benefits from this? Well, let's see. Could it be the big pharmaceutical concerns? You know that hydroxychloroquine, hydroxychloroquine has been proven by numerous doctors to be an effective cure for this COVID, okay? They don't want that. They're saying, oh, no, this is not reliable. Why? Because hydroxychloroquine is a very old medicine. It's been around for at least 40 years. I took it 40 years ago in Brazil for malaria. It's an anti-malarial, and it's also highly effective in the treatment of COVID.
So they don't want us to use it.
They don't want us to use it because they're not going to make any money. No, they're not. Not only that, they're not going to make any money off it.
Yeah.
It's an old medication. You could buy it over the counter for $1 in Brazil and Mexico. You could buy it anywhere where there's malaria. You could just go over to the drugstore and go, give me a box of hydroxychloroquine. Now they want to push this vaccine, which, God almighty, man, that alters your fucking genome.
I'm so scared about that.
Don't be scared. Don't take it.
Yeah, but what if it's mandatorily
Then
enforced?
you shoot somebody in the head.
Oh, okay.
My daughter's not vaccinated, and she can't go to school here.
I know. It's getting
insane.
really bad. Why do you think I'm moving back to Brazil? I would love to stay here. I can't. And if Trump doesn't get elected, good God. God help us all.
That's why I showed you that photo.
Yeah.
Was because I was like,
Let me see that again.
I just bought this shirt. I'm trying to find it right now.
You know what I like about Jonathan? He doesn't even care. He's like, I'm going to say Trump, I'm just going to say what I believe.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh,
But
I've
even
lost...
though, so many people are all divided and the haters of Trump are like vicious. They get
Vicious.
this look on their
They're
face.
diabolical.
And I'm like, why do you hate him? Oh, because they don't even know.
Because the news said he was a racist. Because the news said he hates women and grabs them by the pussy. It's like, what? Wait a minute.
So like MKUltra.
Is that you?
No, well, I mean, it kind of looks like that's Lady Gaga.
Oh my.
Presidential.
Holy shit. Evil, 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 evil.
What?
It just, yeah, right? Isn't it crazy?
Jesus God almighty.
It really, nobody knows what you're looking at.
Lady Gaga with Joe Biden.
Okay.
The head of the Biden crime family, man. You know they got video of his fucking son, like raping and torturing like 9-year-old girls in China.
Oh my God.
And the press has totally stifled that information. He left his fucking laptop at a fucking computer store in Washington, D.C. and didn't go back to pick it up. So the guy opened his laptop to see if he could find him, and he found all these videos. The Chinese government set that up because now they've got a fucking club over the head of Biden.
So you think China's trying to take over the world?
Of course. Of course. There's no question about that. I'm not saying that coronavirus doesn't exist.
Do you think they'll succeed?
That really depends on, that's in God's hands. If they succeed, God help us all, because this is going to be the dystopian nightmare like the world has never seen. It's going to be, this is going to be the end of the human race. And, it's going to be real bad. I don't think they'll succeed. No. I believe that one person who's awake can light up the consciousness of 1,000 sleepers. I believe that.
That's what we're trying to do.
I believe that.
But I mean, I don't. But see, here's the thing: is you don't get through to certain people when you're yelling.
You don't get through to certain people. Period.
Well,
you could be whispering. You could be showing the truth. You cannot get through to people on the material plane. It's only metaphysically that your light will shine into some place in the cosmos that will reflect the light back to those sleepers. That's why it doesn't matter if you yell, you scream, you cry, you jump up and down, or you blow kisses up their ass. It does not matter. It doesn't matter, because just the fact that you have a bright light and a faith in God, that reflects exponentially throughout the universe and reverberates throughout the universe in a metaphysical way that we can't even begin to understand, because it's only in the mind of God how this science, this metaphysical science, is practiced. So work on yourself. Do the inner work. If you got to get mad at the absurdity of your neighbor, get mad. It doesn't make any difference. As long as you know the truth that you are an eternal being, you're a child of the Most High, and you will prosper whether you're living or dead. It doesn't matter. This body can be destroyed, but consciousness never dies.
I found it.
Oh, the spirits thing?
No, this thing I was trying.
I love it. Because it says, we read a few chapters back or whatever, that when you're, I guess we'll just call it tapped in, you don't even have to speak words. Your presence alone will remedy the issues for all parties involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shirt I just bought.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty interesting.
This is what's on the shirt. Read it. That's what's on the cover of the shirt.
Which shirt?
This
shirt that you bought?
Yeah, it's my favorite brand, Fresh Jive. It's like an old company.
Actually, what the fuck is really going on? 500 suicide pills.
What the fuck is really going on? Hold on, John. WTFRGO. What the fuck is really going on? That's their slogan for their whole brand.
I love that.
Did you see this shirt they just fucking made? It's a fucking Oxycontin bottle, but it's like all like aggressive marketing, 100 suicide. It's like they replaced the words that are actually on the bottle with like what it really is.
Yeah.
Because the pharmaceutical industries are... I want to have Rick Klotz on this podcast. Rick Klotz, he started Fresh Jive, which is like probably the coolest streetwear brand ever, back when like Susie started and like Fucked and Supreme. But he was like the most radical, like fuck all you fools, like kind of guy. And he actually ended up going to Mexico and doing a bunch of coke and like threw his life away. But now he's back, and he has has this new. He relaunched his brand, Fresh Jive, and it's what the fuck is really going on. Is like the slogan on like all the shirts, which is crazy because he did this before all this happened. So I have this mask that you have to wear masks, right? So this is my Fresh Jive mask.
What the fuck is really going on?
And when I wear it, people read it. It says, "What the fuck is really going on?" And it's like a lot of people look at it and they're like,
Yeah.
I'm with you, bro.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool, but I like to have like my tattoos and my it's almost like a signaling for people. Like it's almost like insect repellent. It's like we're repelling certain people that we don't even want in our vicinity.
Yeah.
And like, this is something that I've noticed. I'm like signaling to people that, and I'm noticing there are a lot of people that are like with us, bro.
Of course.
And I'm not necessarily saying I know anything or I'm pro Trump. I'm not picking a side. All I'm saying is like,
Please pick a side.
No, I'm not going to, because there are no sides. There are humans, and then there's like 1%ers. And it's just like you said, follow the money. So the people that have all the money, I believe that they've always been in control. It doesn't matter who the puppet is.
I get that.
That's the thing. But so we need to be very conscious of.
I always felt that way.
Me too.
But right now, man.
But right now they're even getting you to be divided, and we cannot.
I'm not divided.
Well, you're like.
I know exactly where I stand.
No, I know you're not.
You need a demon to fight demons. You cannot go with Tinkerbell when you're fighting demons. Yeah. If Trump is a demon, a lesser demon, then...
Yeah, I don't really think it's going to make a difference. I don't know.
It might not. It probably won't. I don't know. But I mean...
That's where I'm at.
But what does it cost me to sign my name on a piece of paper? It's as simple as that.
Right.
Because I see what the other side is doing, and it's clearly demonic. Trump, I'm like, he kind of stinks, but
well, he just has like a bad. I think he has bad manners, and he has like a kind of.
So what? He's so what? I don't care. So do we.
Yeah. Well, that's my problem. Is I can relate to that being misunderstood and saying things,
being maligned,
having a big mouth, and being so honest that I look like an asshole. I would rather have that, because to me that's not evil. That's just like,
no, it's just a flawed human being, like the rest of us.
Right.
But the operative words are human being. These others are fucking purely demonic, fucking robot clones.
But I also want to emphasize the fact that I'm not sure of anything, because I think right now to be sure is really, really hard. But we need to stop. Thank you, everyone. Yes.